Yo, what is up, guys? This is finally my Atoraxxion Orzekea guide. I apologize that it took so long for me to get this to you. But we're going to talk about it, and hopefully after everything, you will understand the fight. So we will get right into it. So at the start of the fight, you're going to activate the fight over by a tower. The tower is going to be at the entrance over here, up the ramp. You just activate that. Once you activate that, everybody can enter right through this clear thing right there. All right, so once you enter, when it lets you enter, sometimes you have to push against it. It like only lets one person enter at a time or something like that. It's weird sometimes. Anyway, what's going on here? I'm gonna wait till the Orz's cradle goes away so you can see. Okay, so what's going on here is there's two orbs on each side. So we have split up. Here's an orb here. There's an orb here. We've split up the group into two teams. We use the same teams that we use in Fight 3 for this. So if you split up your teams in Fight 3, you can do the same thing. But the goal of this phase is there's two trees that are going to spawn on this side, and you can see the tree actually here on this side. The goal is to pull all these ads until this orb fills up, until it's opaque. Once the orb is opaque, you knock the orb right into the tree. So this other group is going to knock it to their right into this tree. So just make sure, with all that being said, you're careful about the angle that you attack mobs. So if we keep playing, you'll see that we bring mobs, attack them close to the orb, and we're trying to fill up those orbs. The other side is doing the same thing. Okay, now this is important right here. This is your warning that your orb is almost full right here. This is when you want to start attacking from this angle, because what happens is if you attack from the wrong angle, say you're hitting mobs this way, you might accidentally knock your orb this way, and then it's a wipe. Okay, so you want to make sure that you knock your orb into the right direction. So as you can see, I line my character up to where I'm attacking mobs this way. So as you can see in the video, once our orb fills up, we make sure we're on the right side and we attack it towards the tree. Once both orbs fly, and it needs to be around the same time. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can see that these guys are kind of late here, but it still works. See, so we get the cutscene. That's phase 1. That's all you need to know for phase 1. So let's go into phase 2. So you'll get a cutscene. Then in phase 2, you just attack her for a while. She'll say, "Welcome to the new world." One thing to note is every time she teleports, she does these binds right here. And these binds hit really hard. Very hard. They hurt bad. So if you have like a HP crystal set or a PvP overcap set, I can't stress this enough that this fight is really not a DPS check. It's a mechanic check. And so we push her down, and the first thing that's going to happen is what we call tree. It's about to happen here pretty soon, I believe. When the tree spawns, you want your group to help you get it low. You do not want them to kill it. So there's the tree, and here we are hitting it. This big tree right here, and everybody's hitting it. You can see its health. They back off, and then I get it low. The reason that I need to be the one to kill it is because I need this purple buff that's around me right here to survive her attack. Other people need to be standing in these rings to get trapped. There's a ring in the northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. We treat this big tree as north, we treat the entrance as south, we treat this as west, and this as east, just for clarification there. So you'll see that once she drops down, I can free these guys, and then there's a stun phase where we attack. We call this the tree phase. One thing to note, you have to get hit by this. You cannot Q block this. If you Q block this or iframe this, it does not count as you being in the jail, and the party will fail. Like, somebody will die. It's not like a wipe, but the person that Q blocks it will die. There's a trick to this too, as you can see that Clap is doing here in our group. He's standing on the very rim of the jail that's about to spawn. What the trick is to that is that he's gonna free himself. He can just step out and free himself. So that's a little trick. So I know just from seeing him where he is, I'm not gonna have to free him, but I'm gonna have to free this guy. So we'll just let it play out and you'll see what happens. So I have to wait until she drops down. See how I turn my camera? I can see who's gonna free themselves and who's not. This guy over there, if you saw it, go back so you can see it. So I can just see he's gonna free himself. And then I turn my camera and I see that he's gonna free himself. See how he's still on the edge? He's technically still trapped, but he can get himself out. So I'm gonna free these two guys here. So we'll let this play out. I wait until she falls down on me. There she goes. Now I free Carcosa. And then I go straight for Orzekea. Everybody else is free. So this is a free up time phase. The next thing that's going to happen is HP based, and we call it Q block. And what happens is on the east and west side of the map, you can see the little rocks and trees right here. On the east and west side of the map, don't forget we treat the big tree as north and the entrance is south. There's going to be these white cones like this that spread out. If you do not Q block these, they hit the whole entire map. Okay, only one person can be in each white cone. That's very important too. So we're going to watch that play out. We're going to watch Q block play out. I'm actually one of the people that does the Q block. You know it's Q block because she will have white text that pops up on the screen right here. Do you dare withstand the might of me, or whatever? The dark goddess artist seeks to engulf the land. So we have people that agreed on east and west. So we go there. The tree spawns. There's the white cone right here. Only one person can be that. Each pulse you have to Q block. There's 5 of them. So we count out loud in our group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so that's Q block. One thing to note, if your DPS is really high and you push her further, both Q blocks could happen back to back, which means that you would have to stay in and block 10 times. So just keep in mind of that. Like you can see, we push pretty quickly here into the next Q block. You might be able to skip it, not sure. A lot of stuff in Atoraxxion can be skipped with enough AP. So here's the Q block again. I'm just gonna let this play out since you guys understand it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. One thing that's important again is only one person can be in there, so the rest of the 3 people need to be trying to bait her away. After that, we just push her into the next phase. So once we push her into the next phase, she's gonna drop down. You can Q block it if you want. That one's fine. So then the next mech we call it orbs. So this is technically phase 3, I guess. This is the last phase. So for orbs, you knock her down a bit and she says something about the true world. We have everybody except for the orb baiter run to the entrance and hug the wall. So that blue entrance that you came into, you run there and you hug that wall as hard as possible. Why you want to do that, you'll see here in a minute, is because I'm gonna bait orbs. When I bait all of the orbs into her, it stuns her, and you get free uptime. There's 5 orbs, so the route you take to bait these orbs is actually very straightforward. You wait for these to close in on you a bit, and you run between these 2 orbs, and then you run around counterclockwise until they all hit her. It's just that straight up. That's just the way it works. So let's check it out now, and you guys will see how I make this loop. So I wait a little bit, they close in on me, inch my way through. There's 1 orb hitter. I go clockwise, make these orbs hit her. I'm just baiting them because all these orbs chase me. Once the final orb hits her, everybody comes in for free DPS. The next big mechanic that happens is we call it stairs. And she says 2 lines, one ends in love and one ends in fate. So love and fate is stairs. And I'll explain stairs. The way stairs work, it's the north side, the tree side, so opposite of the orb side. And we all stand on these stairs. You want to hit tab to put away your weapon to be safe, because you cannot iframe this either. If you iframe this, it does not count as being hit, and this is a group soak mech. So what we do is we run to the stairs and we all spread out. The reason we spread out is because if a party member, if you've ever played this game, if I'm standing in front of this guy, he can't run past me because I block him. So we spread out a bit. But what's going to happen here is there's going to be white rings that spawn. There's going to be 5 white rings. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's stairs, right, left, right, left. What happens is every time one of these white rings hits the party, we soak it, 1 random player gets stunned. So technically, in essence, all you have to do to pass this mech is run until you can't. So if you watch what happens here, that's practically what we do. So I'll walk you through it. First ring comes out, we run. 1 person behind us is stunned, but we're all gonna run right. So now there's 4 of us doing this one. Now we run. Now there's 3 of us. We run again. Now there's 2 of us. We run again. Now there's 1 of us. If you do it correctly, you can see all 5 people are stunned in a zigzag. That's stairs. You have to do that twice in this fight. So if we keep going, you can see everybody's unstunned and we get to attack her again. She's going to try to waylay on you. One important thing to note is that she's going to spawn these small orbs around the map. You just want to knock these off the map, okay? If you leave these alone for too long, they explode. If they explode, then that's not good, obviously. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you knock these orbs off the map, okay? So with that being said, you can see I run and knock the orb off the map. Boom, there it goes. Safe. Also, if you knock these orbs into one of your teammates, it hits them and explodes on them. So be careful with that. So anyway, we just get her down as much as possible, and she does what we call the dodge phase. This is the dodge phase. You'll know it's the dodge phase because she does this really cool float in the air. There she goes, floating up into the air. So all you do during this phase is dodge. That's all you do. So she'll do conals. We get towards the middle of the map because the conals, you can just take a few steps over and you're out. But we dodge here. One thing to note here is that if you get hit by any of these red things, you get launched into the air. It's just like Dark Bong Wing and Black Shrine hard mode, except for when you click to come down, you do proximity damage to the people around you. So just make sure you call out if you're in the air. We might get somebody in the air here. Maybe not. So she's back. So we cleared that without anybody getting knocked into the air. Orbs again. Just make sure you don't hit your friends. Dodge around because the point blank thorns hit. So we're practically just DPSing her while dodging all this crap until next stairs. One thing to keep in mind is you need all 5 people up for stairs or it's a wipe. So if anybody dies, stop DPS until everybody is back up so you can do stairs again. So here we go again. We're dodging like crazy. We have a guy down. We have 2 guys down. So we stop DPS because we need them up for stairs. So we're going to go ahead and raise these guys. I'm going to skip it. So we raised them up. Now we're getting all these orbs off the map. Make sure you don't hit your friends. And we're just going to push her on the stairs. So let's get her. Let's see. There she is. So she says something about fate. You remember how I said it's love and fate as stairs. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to let this play out. Fight is pretty straightforward. It just hits really hard. One thing to note here is that if anybody gets knocked up in the air, it's going to leave this on the ground to where you can kind of see where they are. This is actually a bug where a person got knocked up in the air and this thing still stayed on the ground, but that's where they were when they were in the air. So we all moved away and then they hit a button to come down and the slam's about this big. You don't want to be in that slam. So just keep that in mind. But now we do stairs. Yeah, stairs. So stairs, right, left, right, then left, and you're done. That's basically the entire fight. The very last phase is the most hectic. And what happens here is she starts throwing everything at you at once. So there's AoEs everywhere. There's orbs everywhere. So you have to be very aware of where you're hitting orbs, when you're attacking, all that good stuff. So when she says that all roots of the worlds will eventually connect as one, this is like her Berserk mode. The only thing she adds here is those giant purple orbs that I kited start to appear again, except for they're on one random player. So you can see the small orbs that we have to knock off the map. I'm going to do that. And you can see this giant purple orb right here. It's on a random player. You have to kite this big orb into her the same way that I kited the other ones into the boss before, except for this time you can't choose who it's on. So once you hit her with 3 of these, she's stunned and you get an uptime phase. If anybody runs into those orbs, it explodes, kills the person, and will probably kill like everybody that's close. So you have to be very careful with that. You can see there's a person up in the air over there on the left with the sign on the ground. So I hit all those orbs away. There's the big purple orb and she's stunned. So we hit her with 3 orbs. At this point, you've done every single thing in the fight and all you have to do is kill her. That's the whole guide. That's all you need to know with this fight. Just play it safe at the end rage. If you get there, knock away the orbs. Don't touch the big purple orb. And when she's stunned, just burn her down and you're done. That's it, guys. That's my guide to Atoraxxion Orzekea.